Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk, NFTs, Crypto, and Web3. I am your host, Asia the Bird. To have a very special guest with us today. He is a graphic designer. Please welcome David Oku. Hello, and welcome to the show, David.
Hello, everyone. How you doing?
We're doing very great. So I want to get into this interview by asking, where are you from and how'd you get started in art?
So I'm based in London at the moment, and art is something that I don't know, for me personally, it came very naturally. So when I was a little kid already, I started painting everything I could put hands on. So and it just transformed. I always believed in it, and today I'm a illustrator, I do graphic design, and I do some animation. But it's a passion that lives with me from forever, I would say.
Cool. So you were born in Germany and lived in Lagos, Nigeria.
Hmm.
And, like how you say you now live in London. So
Yeah.
how has travel, impacted like your work? Have you applied travel into your work to a certain degree?
Yeah, I would say so because everything that I do has a big influence from those backgrounds as well. Because my mom is Italian, my father is Nigerian, but they met in Germany. Then we lived in Nigeria. We moved to Italy then. So I think every continent, every country that you actually go has a strong influence, not just on my art, but the way I am with people. When you travel very early as a kid, you
Right.
connect and bond with so many things in your life. And I think my art screams a lot colors. And if you see Nigerian patterns and the clothing they have, color is literally everywhere. It's very loud, it's very bright. So I don't know, it's some people do it to stand out a little bit more, but I think it definitely is, with all the travel, is kind of a package that is always walking around with me.
Yeah, right, exactly. Now, who would you consider to be like your favorite artist that you looked up to?
Whoa. I'll be honest. There are too many good artists. I wouldn't. No, I'm serious about that because us at the very beginning of my career, I didn't even look at too much artists because I think that when you look at artists, doesn't matter big, small, whoever they are, when you look too much into the work of artists, you kind of get influenced by them and somehow subconsciously you take ideas coming from that artist. So I started literally just doing my art and focusing on my craft. But the more I went forward, I started looking at artists, obviously, to see what is out there, who is doing some cool stuff. But I wouldn't really have one name. I have thousand names, but I will say like the guy that you interviewed last time, I think is sorry,
It's Mark Induso?
Mark Indusil. I think that an example, he's one of them that I really like, and the reason for it is like he kind of he does things like I will do, but in a different style. And I think he fill up the space. He put a lot of color, but he contrasted with the dark. But he has so much going on, and I think that is how my art is as well. I want to put a lot of I'm more a maximalist than a minimalist, I would say. So I
Mhm.
like to see people doing similar things to me, but with different mediums, with different techniques. But then there's a list. I can go on till tomorrow, so I don't want to go too deep into that. But I think definitely there are tons of artists doing amazing craft, and everybody's just special in his own way.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's the same with me. Like my art is like very like I like having so much stuff going on with my art. Like there's like
Yeah.
this artist that I look at. His name is Kirby Rosens and he's from the Philippines.
Hmm.
And he has that type of style where there's so much stuff going on.
Yeah.
There's another guy, his name is Matthias Adolfson.
Hmm.
And he has that same type of vibe where there's a lot of stuff going on, like drawing scenes and things like that. And that's something with your work. I like
Yeah.
how it's so consistently colorful and it
Mhm.
always tells a story. So within your illustrations, what is the whole process behind creating your illustrations? Do you go by freestyle, like or do you plan it, or how does that work?
I would say I'm a heavy freestyler because the way I start now is weird because even when clients ask me, can you give us a sketch? My sketch always look almost like the final product. And it's just because my background comes from like literally black and white illustration. And what I used to do is just take any canvas, any wall, take a black marker and just fill up the space with so many details. Whatever come to my mind, I will put it there because my art used to be more like the way I feel about art, the emotion I feel, and the message that I want to portray to people. So by filling up the space, it wouldn't have one story. It will have thousands of stories, thousands of thoughts, and thousands of things that you can spot in the middle to give positive message and positive energy to the people around me. So when I went into digital illustration, I get a little bit tired of the traditional hand-drawn piece. And that's why now I literally work full on Adobe Illustrator. So I start a blank canvas, I go straight into it. Whatever comes out, comes out. You know, I don't want to put, it's
Right.
weird because I don't like to have boundaries because art should be a free mindset. So
Right.
when you have too many boundaries, even with some work that I did, you don't perform your best just because you have too many rules. Rather, I prefer not to have rules because that's where your best outcomes will come out with, you know.
Right, exactly. So what attracted you to like programs such as like Adobe Illustrator and After Effects? And I know those are the programs that you work with.
Yeah, I think straight at the beginning, I try many things. Like I literally wanted to find somewhere where I feel as comfortable. I don't know. I feel like as an artist myself, it's a process of experiencing different mediums because till you don't find a medium that works for you, you need to
Right.
keep exploring. And I think no program is bad. I use even Procreate on iPad, but that is because it gives you that more organic feel when you're drawing things. It's more like a freehand base, but on a digital asset, you know. Rather, when I do digital stuff, I just feel more comfortable in after, sorry, in Adobe Illustrator rather than anything else. Some other people use some older program from Adobe. Um, Forgot the name right now, but yeah, there are so many programs like just that works best for me, I would say, you know.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like there's like this one program called a theme designer. It's like Illustrator, but it's like a cheap alternative. So you only pay like $50. So it's kind
Okay.
of like, like Illustrator. Like the only thing with Illustrator and a theme design, because I have both of those programs myself,
Okay. Yeah.
it's the pen tool. The pen tool I could never get down because it's such the hardest tool. I think that's a hard tool for everybody.
You really? You know, it's funny because I do a lot of sharp edges. I'm not like with when you see my free hand, you'll be surprised because I'm very organic, very rounded corners and everything. But then when I do my digital shop, it's super precise, super sharp. And
Mm,
I'm a heavy user of the pen tool. And a pen tool can be convenient when you want to trace one of your handmade illustration and you want to transform it in is literally perfect for tracing what you draw first by pencil or by
mhm.
pen and then trace it in Illustrator. But I think the difficult part is always reminding that you have to kind of click and pull and curve.
Uh-huh.
So people it's almost like driving a car. You have to get used to the handle to move, you know, right? So yes,
Right.
but you will get there, you will see. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I didn't mean to say everybody, but I'm saying like for me in particular, like it's just hard for
yeah,
me because
yeah,
like, it's just hard to like kind of use it. I guess like how to I think it's understanding that control, like how you said with driving
yeah,
a car,
yeah.
don't let the pen tool control you. Like you have the power to
Yeah, you
control
have the
it.
power. It's true, but you're not the first one telling me this. And I think is, you know, obviously when you draw, your hand just moves by itself. The line is in control. Wherever you go, it just flows. But when you have a pen tool, there is that restriction that says, okay, you need to put a point, then curve it. And I think the step of not being so organic, especially if you don't do heavy digital stuff, you can
Right.
get away with, I rather go with a brush, you
Mm,
know, like if you want to go Photoshop at example, you can use a brush. You have
mm,
different type of brush, different type of texture, and you can get the same outcome, but sometimes it will just be hard because you might have to cancel a line. So it's
right.
command Z, command Z, command Z. But I
Right.
mean, you see, so every program have its pros and cons, I would say, but it's all about being patient, I think, sometimes as well, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I can definitely agree with that. Now, with the color palettes, you use very, very bright colors, like how we mentioned before. Do you plan your color palettes, or is it just like freestyle, just like how you would just draw, your artwork?
I would say freestyle as well, because back in the days, I don't know, I used to do so much black and white that when you do something so much as an artist, I think you need to come out of your habits, try something new. And the
Right.
more I try, I start saying, you know what, let me try to put some color in. I started looking at colors. I started to look at color scheme. I became so good in choosing colors because obviously it's almost like the concept of you use warm colors, you use cold colors, and sometimes you can use pastel colors that give you, they're not too cold, they're not too hot. But me
Right.
personally, I like punchy colors just because I think it push your artwork to the next level, you know. Some people put black on the background, but when they have punchy colors, your eye will always lead there, you know, especially like if you use red colors, you see
Mm.
it's a very, your eyes will always capture the red, you know.
Right, exactly. And I love how how you use color palette is absolutely really, really cool. But also I like what you do with some of the illustrations when you animate them. So
Hmm.
I think that's really, really cool too.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's just part of the process, as I said. So there, no, don't get me wrong, because you get to a point that you do so much, and then you just always looking after what's next, what's coming next. I want to improve it because you have to think like as a professional artist, you always have to think like, okay, I'm not a painter personally. So, you know, painting has technique, has skills. There are different brushes you can use, oil paint and everything. So you have a huge market for painting. But when you're in the industry of digital illustration and things like that, you need to pay rent, I would say.
Right.
So if you just an illustrator, it can work, but it's not, if you have one specific style and a customer asks you one style in particular, it's not that every time the same customer will come back. Of course, you will have those 2, 3 people always working with you, but if you put something additional to it, like animation, or do something more with it, or add some 3D elements, you will definitely find more clients in the long run, you know? So I think it's even a fact of evolving. You know, I'm a traditional artist from in heart, but I also have to be keep myself updated to the days, you know. So it's almost like if I didn't do animation, my illustration would just sit there. Now with animation, I can also do AR. So you look at my work, you take your camera, you put it out, and my work start moving in front of you. Now people are like, wow, it's amazing. But if you understand the animation, then the doors to AR is very easy, you know. So it's just an extra tool, I think, you know, to let your work speak for itself rather than in following the caption underneath. So when it moves, it gives more wonder to your mind, you know.
Right, exactly. Absolutely right. So in terms of just working with different clients, how do you go about pricing? Do you go with do you start off with a contract with the client? How does that work?
I mean, at the moment, I have I have illustration agent myself, but so with pricing and everything, they have company standards. So they, let's say, from when I have an agent, I start understanding better how to price clients. But I'm also working with long-term clients that I have for years, and I'm still living by that on daily basis, you know. And what I would recommend to people is like, obviously there's I don't want to mention money, but I would like to say like just know that what you do not everybody can do, and the more effort and the more time, the more years you spend to it, you can also ask more, because you know it's not because you are quick today. I mean, you took 14 years of your life to get there, you know? So let them pay the right amount, because I understand if you do local businesses, family businesses, that you want to say, you know what, I want to help this person elevate themselves there. You can do it. You can do it for cheap. But you can't do that for cheap every time, because at the end of the day, the effort you put there is also to create a better future for yourself. So what I will say is know your value. For me, it's very important. Know your value, and know that sometimes when you're a new starter, a lot of company will approach you with the mindset, the guy is new, you know, we can get a good project from him for a little bit of money, you know, and
Right.
that is a true mentality. It's not that I'm saying it because I've been through that. I've been doing logos for like 50 quid, 30, 50 logos, and I will get annoyed, I will get angry, I will be like back and forward. They don't know what they want, shifting me here, shifting me there. But then when you start pricing yourself the right way, the client will consider you, first of all, more professional, because higher rates give an ideology of that guys know what he's talking about, you know? So it's, I don't know if it makes sense, sorry, but you know, I think it's a mentality, because often as artists, you are afraid to ask, because if you ask a little bit much, you're afraid you're gonna lose the project. But in reality, it's not this project the problem. You should think, okay, this guy don't want me for those price, that's fine. The next one will give me that price. Keep chasing what you deserve, you know, because at the end of the day, there's no point taking little money and just stress yourself all the time through your work. So that's what I would say about pricing, you know. But
Yeah. That's the thing. And I'm still working on like pricing, and
yeah.
especially with like art schools or like, you know, and I'm also a licensed cosmetologist. So I'm in the beauty industry as well. Like what they don't teach you very much is understand your worth and your value. And I like how you brought that up,
That's true.
because that's something that you have to understand and learn. It's not just about the art aspect and just getting a job. It's also
Yeah,
about,
yeah,
how about having your own business? How do you have your own business? How do you run your own business? That's
yeah,
something that should be taught more.
yeah. Because it's definitely left out. Because, you know, I move in a lot of countries and I always have to restart everything. And I've noticed that that is a struggle that I don't encounter just in me, but all my fellow artists, when they started, if you don't get it from school, you won't learn it if you don't learn it by suffering through it, if it makes sense. Because sometimes people give up before they make it, and it's just because not getting where they want to be when they deserve it in that way kind of let them feel like, oh, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe I'm not. But it's not you're not good enough. You've been approached by the wrong people. That's what I will say. And know what you're worth it, because when you know how much you're worth it, then that price will talk for itself, you know, because if you
Right.
put the effort, people are willing to pay you because you do great stuff, you know. So it's
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the entire thing with that. Now you attended the London College of Communication. So I wanted to
Yeah.
go ahead and ask and talk about like what were some of the lessons that you've learned attending that school?
um I don't want to sound mean in terms of, because don't get me wrong, I think education is key for everything, you know, being smart, getting into school is great. But the same thing, I would say, like, for me, it wasn't London College of Communication itself, but was the student attending there, from who I've learned a lot, because that is just a facility. But what you make with your time was on our hands, wasn't on the teacher's hand. They might tell you a bigger picture, this is what is happening, you need to be like this. But I think the student make the difference. When I start seeing people from all around the world in one room, and we will have like a brief that we have to hand in for our end of year, I'll be always surprised of how much creativity. People are all different, and the outcome
Right.
will always be different. The vision will be always different. So the fact of university is the first time where I actually said to myself, "Whoa, I really can make this as a career," you know, because I don't know. It's not the teaching part, it's more the coming together with different minds, you know, that really
Yes.
helped me and boost my creativity, because it teach me like collaboration is key to almost everything, you know, and by working with people, by experimenting with people, that truly elevate your game to another level. And you wouldn't expect it, because I teach you something, but I believe in the fact that you can learn from anyone. Doesn't matter if they're older or younger. Everybody has different perspectives. So you just enrich yourself both ways, you know? So
Mhm.
that is what I will say from uni, you know, because I started very late. Because when I was in Italy, I didn't finish my studies. I just went to work straight on the ground. But then when I came back to London, I saw the opportunity to have a foundation degree. And obviously, for my career, I've always dreamed about having paper like a bachelor degree. So when I came here and I saw the foundation 3 years to get my papers, I said, you know what, let me do it, like, because even if I'm older than them, I want to actually get my papers, like, because, you know, in the industry, it's important to have a bachelor. Not that it's important to companies, because if you're talented, you can always work, but it's self-satisfaction, I would say. And that's mainly the reason why I did the London College of Communication. But I made tons of friends, lifetime friends that I'm still working with. A lot of artists that came out from there now are super big in their countries. So, it was good to be part of the growth of beautiful minds. That's what I would say.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is like making connections and collaborating with different people. That's very, very
Exactly.
important. And of course, you'll have your degree, but it's way more than that piece of paper, is what
Exactly. Yeah.
the skills that you acquire. And that's the
Exactly.
thing that when I went to Savannah College of Art and Design in Savannah, Georgia, I've acquired all these skills, and you learn a lot being at art school. You get to know people, you get to collaborate with people and things like that, whether they're animators, illustrators, fashion designers. And, those connections are the ones that you keep.
Yeah, because it kind of opened your mind to the possibilities.
Right.
That's what I would say,
Yeah. You have to put the time into, the college. So that's the entire thing with that. So in terms of, I want to get into copyright. So what is your whole perspective in terms of copyright?
Copyright for me, I think is important because I don't know, in the days we're living right now, I feel like anybody can just take your piece and rock with it. Like, I don't know how to say it, like 1 week ago, not even 1 week ago, there was a guy in Mexico that posted one of my artwork to promote a party, a venue in Mexico. And one of my fans obviously showed me that this was happening, and I was like, what? And it's funny because as an artist, I put time. And even if you ask me as a business owner, look, I love your work, I don't have a budget, you know what, do you mind if I will still help somebody to elevate themselves, because I'm that kind of person. But to see people that just post it there, then you ask them, sorry, but who gave you permission? And then they start playing games with you, and then you find out that somebody made a profit out of your artwork. It kind of, I don't know. Copyright is important because I put too much effort into my work, learning craft day by day. There was good days, there was bad days, and just to see your work taken and just be used as they wanted is harsh, because I find it very disrespectful, because I'm a people's person. I always help my neighbor and my friends, but you could have just asked me and it would have happened. That's why with the copyright, I would say it's a prevention of your art to be used and make profit, because if they don't credit you, the royalties that you can get out of your artwork, there are a lot of things that you actually need to look into copyright, because copyright is very important for every artist. Doesn't matter that you do nails, you can be the first one doing that specific nail,
Right.
But but it sounds weird, but if you invented that style, it's good that you are recognized for that. Then
Right.
other people can then do it. But it's important that you are the person that brought that trend. You are the person that invented that style. You are the person. It's almost like a Kate Haring. Wherever you go and you see it, doesn't matter who makes something similar, you will always say that is a Kate Haring, just because it's so unique. He invented that kind of style, So anybody that come after, they can still have praise because they put effort in learning how to do it, but still they know where it comes from and where they've been influenced from. But just taking something off and making money, I just find it ridiculous, So
Yeah, that's the thing. I could definitely agree with that totally, because it's been so common, especially, how us as Black people, we always get stolen from, especially with ideas and trends
yeah,
and things like that. Like especially within my industry, the beauty industry, like certain like nail trends, like some of the stuff Black women started, and
yeah, yeah,
it was seen as ghetto, but now
yeah,
everybody wants to follow the beat of our drum, especially with art, especially with fashion. Like we're the trendsetters.
yeah. It's trust me, I totally understand you, because it's once was bad and now everything is amazing, because now
Right.
everybody sees it as stylish. But the history is always important. That's what I say. Like, you cannot forget history.
Mm, yeah, exactly. Now, how'd you get started into having like some of your work as NFTs?
Reality is like I'm new in NFTs, and the reason why I started NFTs, as I said earlier, is almost like I need to stay on trend. And I
Mhm.
think NFT is a space that for me is like is a 50-50. It's good as it's bad, you know,
Right.
because you know, a lot of people make money out of it. That's fair. Most of the people, they want to make some extra earning just by doing the art. I understand that, but you
Right.
know, there are people that, I mean, they just make money out of it. Like there are people on the platform reselling other people's artwork. There are people on the platform that they just have a lot of money, put money into it. I would say like NFT is like is a happy place for an artist, but it's not only about the art. It's about being able to use social media to promote it. It's about creating a community around it. It's
Right.
about marketing your work. Is there are so many sectors. So as an artist, you know, I've tried it. You know, I'm still pushing for it, and I'm just learning. I'll be honest. You know, like at the beginning, of course, you might lose money, you might make mistakes, but I think that's the best way to actually get into it and dive into it, because the NFT world is amazing, but it's
Mm.
growing so quick that sometimes you don't really know what is the best way to get around about it, you know, because I'm more interested, I would say, maybe in crypto itself or like blockchain itself rather than the NFT space, because you know, NFT for now is booming, it's amazing for artists, but you need a team behind you and you need to know how to move in the right direction, because a lot of people now are asking me about NFTs to do NFTs. I want to NFTs. I want to do this. I want to do David. But you know, there's so much request. But then at the end of the day, a lot of people are making a lot of work, but then the income they make is very little compared to what they will actually do if they started themselves with their creative vision rather than creating something with the vision of someone else, if it makes
Right.
sense. So it's creative control, I would say. We was talking about it last week on at Comic Con with my friend. It's just about you know, I would love to do NFTs if it was proper like an art gallery, selling your piece of art to real collectors. Rather, a lot of times you find a few collectors, but I don't have the I don't have those connections. Rather, other people maybe have those good connections. They know about it from earlier, so they're the people moving in the right direction because they know the system well. Rather, for newcomers, you need to have a plan. You always have you need a plan, like a bit.
Right.
It's like a business strategy, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Business plan. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now tell us about like your NFT collection called the U Boys.
Okay. Yo boys. I try to make it yo boys. But I mean, no, but you know, like the yo boys is a simple example of what I wanted to do. Because at the beginning, I just started posting NFTs, and then I started seeing the board ape yacht. I saw so many different little characters collection, and I did this yo boys based on 50 characters. And what I wanted to show in there is more like, because I saw a lot of things, for me was about showing culture, you know, and I call it the yo boys because they're all boys, no disrespect, you know, because I might think of doing the yo girls as well, but it's all about, I don't know, making a statement, was very something cultural. If you see in the
Right.
whole collection, you have people coming from tribes, people like I'm half West African, so you see people with the half West African clothing. And
Mhm.
because I've traveled, I try to put all the boys into it, have like a connotation either to my childhood. You can see some aliens because I'm a wonder guy. You have the guy with the spaceman. You have a lot of, I don't know, it's the culture and the blend that have always affected me. And I try to put it on 50 characters because I'm not a big fan of the generative NFTs. And the reason for it is because it's just a overlapping of things. And I wanted to do this all individually one by one because I think you put more passion into it like that.
Right.
And yeah, that's the Yo Boys. And we're waiting to see what I'm going to do with it because for now it's sitting there, but you know, The next one I will definitely, it's just a test, I would say, a test project.
That's really, really cool. Now, what is your whole take in terms of art and how it's combining with technology?
I love art combined with technology because everything that I use as example is like I have my tablet, I have my iPad, I have the little Wacom. So technology for sure helps you reach new horizons, I would say. So like back in the days, you would just have pen and paper.
Mm-hmm.
You would be limited to that. Rather now with the technology we have, there is virtual reality, there is AR, there's the 3D space, metaverse. There's so much going on that I think that technology for an artist, it just helps you enhance your game within everything. But I'm also, sometimes I'm that kind of artist that I'm very observative of what is happening in the world. So for me, technology is amazing when you can produce something amazing that help improve the world, or
Right.
like give the right message, or create something that doesn't exist. That is amazing. But when it comes to the other aspects, especially with the youth, I'm scared what technology does for the youth. And I struggle with that because I'm an 80s boy. So I'm like in between the very old school people and the new era techie guy. I'm still techie, but I'm just at the margin of both ends. And I feel almost like back in the days, we will still have more times to live life for what life really was. Rather now, the technology, especially with the kids or people, young people I know, they can't survive without technology mainly. That's how I feel it. I don't want to say everyone, but I feel almost like I feel a lack of confidence in the younger generation
Mm.
than my generation, just because we used to do things face by face. Rather now, technology is almost like this wall in front of you that builds your confidence from home. But then when you're outside in the real world, you are not as confident because you always have this middle. It's almost like the middleman between you and your reality. So that is my fear of technology. But for artists and developers and people that want to create new things, I think technology is just, we step into the future. So it's also right that things are evolving. Like I'm evolving as an artist, technology will evolve, but I'm just scared the extent of where technology will arrive in the future.
Yeah, right, exactly. Especially within my generation. I'm 25. And the thing
Okay.
is like it's getting more and more and more digital. And I like how you
Yeah.
said, I remember like in an interview, you did this whole illustration like of fast food and it said future. And I
Yeah.
remember that you mentioned about with AI is like, talking about like the fast food industry and how it's going
Yeah.
to be replaced with AI. It's like that's absolutely crazy how like so advanced with where like technology is going.
Yeah. No, no, it's crazy because I feel almost like in the future we wouldn't be doing nothing.
Mm,
There wouldn't be, if you think about it in a long shot, like I would say, like everybody will be replaced by machine. And
mm.
like, I mean, it's good because I will be chilling every day. No, but no, apart jokes, but I feel almost like having daily activities is important. So
Right.
it's not about being in the gym, being super big, or it's all about a mindset. You can't always stay at home. You can't always not do nothing. So the fact that I don't know, I'm scared. I'm scared of technology because I saw AI. If AI will get to the level that it will get, for sure, I think, because there are a lot of investors in it right now. I
Right.
think a lot of things can be replaced, and first thing will be like the jobs of every day will
Hmm.
go. You have cars driving themselves, doing delivery alone. You have
Right.
the machine that is bringing the letters, post office, whatever. There are so many things that are already happening,
Right.
and but I mean, it still haven't hit us. And I think the people that don't really get it is like those multi-billion-dollar corporation, because they are investing in that technology, but they should also think what the effect on the rest of the world will be, because we can be replaceable, but there is different things that they will harm, so it scares me. I don't know, I don't want to go too forward with my mind, but I think is something that we all have to pay attention. And if you will have kids or whatever, you need to keep an eye on what you want them to be in the future, you know, because there is a part of being human that is just so unique. I think to myself, is just being you, being unique, being one of a kind. So it's important to actually be you. I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry if I phrase it like this.
Yeah, right, exactly. I totally understand where you were coming from. Now, how would you define success in your perspective?
Well, that's a big question. I don't know. Success, you know what, for me, is like when you believe in something and you get, I don't know, I used to be a dreamer, and I think that every goal that I set in life for now, I've gone the way I wanted it. It took ages sometimes. I suffer a lot sometimes because insecurity on work, what to do of my future. But you know, I still kept believing every day. And I think the success is like, I don't know, reaching your full potential is success. And it's not always about, I wouldn't say it's money success, because money is not success. Money can just buy you pretty things. I think success is more like believing in yourself and try to make a change for the best version of you. You the man. Yeah. Sorry, but sometimes my English is a little bit like this. I'm in my mind a lot.
Yeah, but I totally get where you're coming from. Yeah, it's what you make of it. Like, you know,
Exactly.
reach your fullest potential. And that's the entire thing with it. And especially like we live in an era of social media, like how we talked about earlier with the technology, you know, we get so like into social media, and it's like you can't worry about what other people are doing. You have to do you. And you have to be staying in the real world. You know, like, of course, this technology is going to come, but you know, nothing beats reality.
Yeah. Because the uniqueness of every person is very different.
Right.
Like I'm like a guy, like, if I have to say, like, there's no lines. Like, you see, they saying US, Germany, Africa, this, that.
Right.
I've traveled so much very early, and I don't see that line. I just see beautiful people everywhere. And you know, it's the being unique, being weird, being different, being something that nobody have ever seen. For me, that is beauty, and it's nothing you should worry about, because we all unique in that way, you know. So it's like, get to the best version of yourself. I think that is success. Because for me, I've been working all my life, but you know, I'm becoming a father soon. So like in a month, that is my success. But you see, that is my success for me, because I want that, and that is more important than, and even than my art, you know, because family for me is everything. So it's not about the money, it's not about the career, it's about being the best version of yourself. I can't wait, you know, it's the next step of life. So it's you have to experience it to understand how to get always better day by day.
Right, exactly. Now, what's next for you?
Ooh, fatherhood. No, but I mean, for me, I mean, apart fatherhood, going back to topic, I mean, I think in the future, one thing that I will really love to have in terms of like, because I still believe in it, is like opening a space for artistic people, but in any form or medium that you can imagine, you know. It's almost like I don't want to say like a studio, because I don't want it to sound like it belongs to me. I want to create a space where all the people into art come together to deal with any brief, any imaginary, I don't know, make magic just from one space with the best heads in the different discipline, you know. So as an artist, when I think about this, I would say like, I want to combine illustration, animation, 3D, photography, music, but all in one, you know, because now you have, I'm an illustrator, I'm a web developer, I'm a this, I'm a that. And it's so divided that I always feel like you're always in your bubble and you stay in your bubble. Rather, what I want to create is a bubble where together we can just grow and everybody can learn from each other. Because you
Okay.
know, it's learning for me is really like one of the most important thing. And if I open my future business, I want a hub where people are great at what they do initially,
Right.
but I also want them to be a place where we can all grow together in how do you call it, synchronized mode, something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the plan for the future. But you know, I don't want to say it will happen, because to do something like this, you have to rely on people as well. And I think to open a business with a good mindset, you need to find the right fit, so people are similar to your mindset, and that is difficult to get. You know, you can find one or two, but to create something bigger, you know, you have to keep searching till you have the right people to do that. You know.
Right, exactly. Last but not least, where can people find you on social media and how can people support your work?
So on social media, I think the most active I am is on Instagram. So will be d.okuart, and on my website, so davidoku.com.
Awesome, great. Well, thank you so much, Dave, for jumping onto the show. Your work is
No,
absolutely incredible. Congratulations
thank you,
on fatherhood.
thank you,
Congratulations. Thank you so much. This has been a great interview. This has been great. Thank you.
thank you. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also, follow me on my social media platforms and visit my website, asiaticbird.com, and be on the lookout for more interviews involving Web3, NFTs, crypto, and the metaverse.